Evelyn Cochran from the Learning and Professional Development team, and welcome to this training session on the referral to admission processes. This session is designed for administrative staff who are involved with processing referrals, and we'll get started by discussing our objectives.
Here are the processes that will be covered in today's class. First, we'll review the referral steps in McKesson Hospice and talk about which steps stay the same and which are changing. Every referral will continue to have an RI or referral information note entered in McKesson. However, there will be some additional information that is required on the RI note. We'll discuss those requirements. Next, we'll cover how to upload documents into the hospice system. The referral documents received during the referral process will now be scanned into the hospice system. This is a great feature that allows the field staff to view these chart documents on the iPad. Once all of the patient information is in the hospice system, the next step is to review that information to ensure it's correct. I'll show you how to do that. Then you'll learn how to assign personnel and schedule the initial one-day one frequency for the comprehensive visit. Here is the referral to admission process. There are 6 basic steps. It starts with entering information into McKesson Hospice. This process is very similar to what you're doing today. There are some minor differences that I'll share with you throughout the class, but let's take a look at these steps in a different way. The first step is to enter the referral into McKesson Hospice. Beginning with step number 2, you'll be working in the hospice system. Step 2 is uploading the referral documents into the hospice system, and paper documents will be scanned, saved, and uploaded. Once the documents are uploaded, clinicians will be able to view these documents without accessing the paper chart in the office. Step 3 is reviewing the information that was entered in McKesson and making sure that everything is showing up in the system appropriately. This is why you now have 2 monitors. This step is easiest to accomplish if you keep McKesson Hospice open on one monitor and the hospice system opened on the other monitor. Step 4 is notifying the MCP of the new referral. You'll continue to use whatever process you currently have in place for this, so some of you may be sending an email, others may be sharing the information in a conversation. Just continue to share this information in the same way that you do today. Once the manager of clinical practice learns about the new referral, he or she will go into the hospice system and mark the referral as approved, indicating that the patient is ready for the comprehensive assessment visit. And I'll show you how to check for that approved mark. Once the referral is approved, you will add the staff assignment and enter and schedule the visit in the hospice system. Finally, the nurse will perform the comprehensive assessment visit. The referral entry process flow still remains the same. There are some slight differences within the detailed steps. First, we'll review the processes for capturing and entering referral information, establishing and recording eligibility, and determining and entering benefit period information. The first step of the process is all about capturing and entering the patient information into McKesson Hospice. When someone calls the office to talk about hospice care, we can classify these calls into 3 different categories. So let's review what those types of calls are. An informational call is typically one in which the caller is just calling to ask questions about hospice services. The caller doesn't provide any patient information, so nothing is entered in McKesson Hospice. A lead is an inquiry from someone who thinks a particular person might benefit from hospice. There is no physician involvement yet at this time. If patient information is provided, go ahead and enter it into McKesson Hospice. A referral is when we have an inquiry from someone who has the authority to give us patient information. That would be a physician or a facility, for example, who has worked with the patient to help them choose a hospice provider, or someone who's been given the authority to seek potential hospice providers for them. Leads and referrals should be entered in McKesson Hospice on the day that they are received. This step of the process remains the same. Anyone in the office may take a phone referral, and that referral information is written on the referral form. The referral form is then given to the admission coordinator, who enters the information into McKesson Hospice. If the patient is already in McKesson, the admission coordinator will verify that all of the demographic information is still correct and update it as necessary. If the patient is not in McKesson, the admission coordinator will enter the new referral. So let's review the steps of that process. On the Customer Information tab, the admission coordinator enters or confirms the following demographic information for the new referral: the patient name, the organization level, and the Social Security number. Then he or she enters or updates the patient address and phone number and confirms the service address. These steps in McKesson are unchanged by implementing the hospice system. Moving to the information area, the admission coordinator will confirm that the admission organization level is correct, enter the referral date, the referral source, and the referral category. Next, he or she will confirm that the admission status displays as pending on the next tab. In the associated teams, physicians, and facilities screens, the admission coordinator will enter the information for each of these relationships just as they do today, with one exception. The new process is in the entry of personnel. The only associated personnel that will be entered into McKesson is the hospice specialist. All other personnel are entered in the hospice system later during the scheduling process. Entry of the referral diagnosis is still required, and it's important to enter the proposed diagnosis that was approved by your nurse manager. All of this information will flow to the patient profile or face sheet in the hospice system, and we'll look at this information in the hospice system in a few minutes. The next process is to establish eligibility and determine the benefit period. You will continue to use the coverage funding report found in MVPE Solutions to verify coverage and the benefit period. However, the benefit period information will not be entered into the events area in McKesson Hospice by the admission coordinator. You will include this information in a referral information note in a later step. The nurse will enter the BP on the hospice system comprehensive assessment form, and the hospice system will create and populate a benefit period event in McKesson for you. You will continue to enter the payer information, billing sequence, and authorizations just as you do today. Now let's talk about that referral note. If you are not adding one currently, you must start doing so now. All of the information entered on that note will flow over to the hospice system. In addition to what you typically include in that McKesson referral note, you will add the following items: the power of attorney, any prior hospice information, and the benefit period information. The specific information you need to include about benefit period in the referral note is the same information that you're currently entering in the BP event, and that includes the BP number, the start and end dates, the number of prior hospice days, if any, and the name of the prior hospice. So let's take a look at what that RI note might look like. Here is an example of a new RI note with a template that contains all of the required components. So we have just completed step number 1, entering the new referral in McKesson Hospice. Now let's learn how to upload documents into the hospice system. Here are the steps to complete the document upload. You will log into the hospice system and select Upload Documents. You'll then select the patient and the episode. Let the system know where you want the document to be filed by selecting the admission folder. You'll search your computer for and select the documents. Then change the file name if you need to, and upload it. Let's walk through these steps with a few pictures from the hospice system. Begin by logging into the hospice system. Remember, you may want to keep the hospice system open on your second monitor. Once your main menu displays, select the Upload Documents link. On the Upload Documents screen, you'll select the patient in the drop-down. When it first opens up, you'll see a tree with folders that represent the patient's chart. Look for that green check mark. This indicates which destination folder is currently selected. It will default to Scanned Documents, just like you see here in the screenshot. The referral documents should be uploaded into the Admission Intake folder. And to make that happen, just select that folder and you will see the green check mark move. I'll show you that on the next slide. Now you can see that the green check mark is in the correct destination folder, which is the Admission Intake folder. Next, you'll search your computer for the document by using the Browse button at the bottom. Once you find the document, you may need to modify the display name of it. When you have an appropriate document name and you're certain that you have the correct document for this patient, select the Upload button. At the top, above the patient's name, you will see a red confirmation message telling you that the document has been uploaded. In my example, the document name is Sample Document. Then in the file tree, you'll see the document name with the paperclip icon, which indicates that it is an uploaded document, not one that was created in the hospice system. This document can be accessed and viewed in the patient chart. Here are the steps to view an uploaded document. Navigate to the patient chart by selecting the patient on the main menu and selecting the patient chart link. Locate the Admission Intake folder and select the document link. Let's see what that looks like. On the main menu, select the patient in the patient's drop-down and select Patient Chart. The patient's chart opens and you'll notice that the folders are seen here in the same order as they were in that file tree. Look in the Admission Intake folder and you should see a link with the document name. My example was Sample Document and here it is. The document can be viewed by selecting the red link. Now we're ready to review the referral information on the face sheet. The face sheet and the patient profile are essentially the same thing. Follow these 3 steps to access the patient profile. Log into the hospice system, select the patient in the patient drop-down, and select the red hyperlink labeled Modify a Patient Profile. As soon as you select this hyperlink, you will be taken to the patient profile or face sheet. Let's look at that. Here's an example of the patient profile or face sheet. All of the information included on the face sheet flowed over from McKesson Hospice. This face sheet is rather large, so you'll need to use the scroll bars to view each area. Note that the information entered in the McKesson Hospice Referral Information Note flows here to the comments section of the face sheet for the assessing RN to reference. If you want to print the face sheet, you can do so by selecting the link Printer Friendly Version in the upper right corner of the screen. This is another time where it's handy to have two monitors. With McKesson open on one monitor and the hospice system open on the other, you can compare to make sure that the information is correct and complete. Any corrections or additions have to be done in McKesson Hospice, and when you close and reopen the face sheet in the hospice system, it will refresh with the new changes. Now it's time to let the MCP know about the referral. Remember, you'll continue to use whatever process you currently have in place for this, whether that's via an email or a conversation. Then the MCP will mark the new referral as approved or ready to begin hospice services. Once the MCP is notified, he or she will review the patient profile and the uploaded referral forms. If the admission is appropriate, the MCP applies the approved mark to the face sheet. Now we're ready to find the approved face sheet, assign staff to the patient, and schedule that one-day one frequency for the comprehensive assessment visit. The patient profile report is the tool we use to locate referrals that have been approved for admission. On the main menu, scroll down a bit until you see the admin reports in the center of the screen. In this section, you'll find custom reports and select the patient profile report. Set the filters for the report to show all approved referrals within a certain time frame. Back up the from date to catch any that might have been missed previously. Select the Mark As filter, Approved, and use other filters as needed to limit your results, then select Go. An approved status on the patient profile report is the indicator that it is time to assign the staff member and schedule the admission visit. To assign a staff member, you'll need to go to the main menu, select the patient from the drop-down list, and select the red hyperlink, Assign Staff to Patient. Use the scroll bar to scroll down to the section labeled Registered Nurse. Highlight the appropriate person on the left-hand side of the screen and select the Add button. Confirm that the correct person was added to the box on the right, and when you're ready to save the selection, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the screen and select the Update button. Till you select Update, the nurse is not assigned to the patient and cannot see the patient. Assign only the admission nurse in this step. The other disciplines can be assigned after the patient is admitted. Now it's time to add and schedule the nursing comprehensive assessment visit. Go to the main menu, select the patient in the drop-down, and select Patient Schedule. Let's point out a few items of patient information that you can view on this screen. Patient name and medical record number are included, and the proposed first benefit period dates are listed here. This benefit period is based on your referral entry date in McKesson Hospice. Note that this benefit period will be updated automatically based on what the admitting nurse enters on the assessment form. Okay, let's add and schedule the admission visit. In the Visit Frequencies box at the top of the screen, select the Add Visit Frequencies link. When you select this link, a smaller pop-up screen appears on top of this view. Let's take a look at that one on the next slide. This is the Add Frequency pop-up screen. Notice that the patient name is in the upper left corner so you always know which patient you're working with. There are several fields to complete, and we'll look at each of them. First, in the Discipline field, use the drop-down menu and select RN, LVN, LPN. In the Set field, use the drop-down menu and select SOC for Start of Care. In the Frequency and Duration section, enter the frequency 1 time a day for 1 day. Then, as the start date, enter the first day the visit can be performed. The start week will automatically populate based on your selection. In the Select a User drop-down, find and select the staff member that you assigned in the previous step. And then select Save. Now all that's left is for the nurse to perform the comprehensive assessment visit. When that happens, there are some things that happen automatically in McKesson Hospice. Notice that all of these updates happen automatically. You don't need to do a thing. The admission status updates, the proposed terminal diagnosis updates, a benefit period event is created, and the level of care event is created if appropriate. All of these automatic updates occur because the admission nurse is entering this information on the clinical assessment form in the hospice system. When the assessment is completed, that information flows back to McKesson Hospice. This is why the information contained in that RI or referral information note is so important. The admitting nurse is relying on that information to complete the clinical assessment form. So those are the steps for completing the referral to admission process in the office. The referral is entered into McKesson Hospice. The referral documents are uploaded into the hospice system. The referral information is reviewed for accuracy. The MCP is notified of the referral. Staff are assigned and the comprehensive assessment visit is scheduled. And the nurse performs the comprehensive assessment visit.
This concludes this training session. Thank you for participating, and we hope that you found this session informative and helpful as we collaborate together to deliver uncompromising care.